First, I have to apologize because I was not able to be on Monday at the embassy. I would have liked to welcome you myself. But I was in Bremen installing our new honorary consul who will be covering 3 lenders. So I had to be there and to be with the minister president of Bremen, which, by the way, a very nice city. I choose on the topic, that you have, and maybe to start your conference as, to talk about Africa as a growing power. And I wanted to give you an example of what an African country, and maybe more than one, are doing in the field of renewable energies. We have been talking these days of renewable energies everywhere, especially in Germany. And the Desertec initiative, which is the topic of the moment, everybody is talking about that, and I wanted to show you that maybe in the future Africa might play a prominent role in providing electricity to Europe. So this is the topic I choose because it's something very concrete and something we are really working on, and maybe I have the opportunity to answer your questions. First, I have to tell you that I will be giving you an overview of the current energy situation in Morocco, and then our national strategy on energy, and maybe talk about some projects and say a few words about Desertec. First of all, I would like to tell you that Morocco has no fossil fuels. We import 96% of our energy needs, and our energy needs are increasing to just as a result of the performance of our economy, which is growing at a rate of 5% annually. In 2009, the government launched a national energy strategy that promotes the development of renewable energies with 3 goals to achieve. First, to satisfy the country's growing demand for energy. Second, to reduce our dependence on foreign imports. And third, to preserve the environment. Morocco has no oil resources, but the country has been blessed with abundant natural resources of the future, and this is the case for all African countries. We have sun, we have wind, we have sea, and I will try to explain to you how we can use this to provide electricity for our populations and for the development. Morocco enjoys 3,000 hours of sun, making it perfectly positioned to build large scale of solar energy power. If I want to compare, Germany is 1,700 hours, almost double, and you have seen that even with half of this energy, Germany is doing a lot on renewable energy. Wind also, speed of wind is one of the greatest in this part of Africa. In some regions, the speed for wind is more than 9 seconds. Meter by second. So it's really a great location, and we have been working on that to be able to use this energy and to produce electricity. This is the first slide I want to show you is about Morocco, and the wind. It's not very clear because you cannot see the numbers. It's 5.5 kilowatt per square meter. This is this region, and this is 5.5 square meters. But as you see, we enjoy a lot of sun, and we have been using this to produce electricity. The second slide shows the wind speed. The wind speed is in some places here it's over 6 meters per second, which is really, really strong. And I told you in some regions it reaches 9 meters per second, which is the strongest speed you can get anywhere in the world. And it's the reason why we are positioned in Morocco, not only to produce electricity from solar energy, but also from wind. Also, you can see that there is a very long coastline on the Atlantic Ocean and on the Mediterranean. We are not talking that much today about energy we can get from the ocean, but we have started studies on that because you can, sun, you don't have it at night, wind, it stops sometimes, but the energy you get from the ocean never stops. So there is also a lot of studies to be able to produce electricity from the ocean, and especially the Atlantic Ocean, and to provide electricity to small cities. Our program is to produce by 2020 2,000 megawatt solar energy, 2,000 megawatt wind, and 2,000 megawatt hydraulic, and to save energy consumption by 15%. Our energy mix will be, and this is a very, very ambitious target, to produce 42% of our electricity from renewable energy. And 2020 is very close, and I will show you that we can reach this target and what we have been doing for that. First, we had to, yes, this is the mix, 42% from renewable energy. So to reach this target, we had to provide first the legal framework for investors and operators. And 3 major laws have been passed in 2009. First was to be able to help everyone to invest in energy, which was only a public thing. Only public companies or the government could invest in energy. Now it's open, and energy is considered like any other commodity that could be produced, used, sold on the domestic market or exported. So the first law was to liberalize the sector and to make everyone able to invest, private or public companies. What is important also is that if you produce electricity, you have to distribute it. And to distribute it, you have to be connected to the grid. And we granted this connection to the grid by law, which is something very important. I think we are the only country that has done that for the moment, is that when you invest by law, you are connected, you can be connected to the grid. The only thing you would have to do is just to negotiate the conditions, how much you will pay, and what power you need, how much electricity you need to transport, but you will not have to discuss or to get from the government the possibility to be connected to the grid. The second very important thing that we did is that we created an agency dedicated to solar energy. So when you come and you want to invest in solar energy, you have only one body to deal with, and you will discuss any question, any problem concerning your investment will be done by this body that has just been created. And the third thing is we created also an agency for energy efficiency. You don't have only to produce electricity, but you have also to use electricity in the best way. So we have also an agency which is dedicated to energy efficiency. More incentive measures have been taken. One is that we created an energy development fund of $1 billion that will help companies who will start to invest in the sector. putting in place infrastructure, helping and developing research and development centers, building partnerships, selecting developers, etc. So this fund can be used for that. Second, education. We introduced in our university a new degree in wind and solar technology, so we can provide the engineers and the people who can work on the sector. And we also created special zones dedicated to this renewable energy or clean energy. What are the projects that we have started? I will talk about wind. We have already 4 locations for wind parks, one in Tétouan, which is 50 megawatt, another one in Tanger, 140 megawatt, second one in Tétouan, 30 megawatt, and this one in Essaouira. These are really locations where there is a lot of wind. 5 new projects are underway, and a third one in Tétouan of 120 megawatt. Then again, Tétouan, 50 megawatt. Tarfaya in the south, 300 megawatt, and 2 projects in Laayoune, 200 megawatt and 50 megawatt. So by 2012, the total capacity will be 720 megawatt, and by 2015, we will reach the target of 1,150 megawatt. If we talk about solar, capacity of 2,000 megawatt, the estimated cost is $9 billion, and we have selected 5 sites for 10,000 hectares. This is the first project, maybe you heard about that. The first project is in Ouarzazate, that will be starting soon. 500 megawatt, the surface that will be needed is 2,500 megawatt, and it will generate 1,150 gigawatt per year, hour per year, which is gigantic. I mean, it's a very, very huge project. When you hear about wind farms or solar projects, it's 100, 150 megawatt. This one will be 500 megawatt. This is the first one that we have started with, and I will show you where we are with this project. The second one is a little bit on the northeast of Morocco, 400 megawatt. We'll need 2,000 hectares. Another one of 500 megawatt in the south here. Another one in Bouhlal, 100 megawatt, and the last one here in near Laayoune of 500 megawatt, which these 5 major sites will provide 2,000 megawatt a year. The projects, this is the timetable. We announced the first projects in November 2009, and we had a pre-selection in October 2010 that it will end this month. We have in the short list now 19 companies, 200 companies were in the tender, and now we have only 19 companies, 4 of them are German. And then the construction will start in the third quarter of 2011, and it will enter into service in 2015. These projects will be done on a private and public partnership. It's not that we are just calling people, please invest and sell us the technology. It will be done, each step of the projects will be done on a partnership. The location, the technology, the production, and everything will be done in this partnership, and this is what we have started to do, and it's doing very well with the Germans. Now the companies that are involved in our products are from United States, Japan, Great Britain, Germany, Spain. few words about hydraulic. First, we are talking of Africa. I would like to point out something that in Morocco, we are, I think, the only country, not only on the African continent, we are the only country where our rivers start and finish on the Moroccan territory. We do not share any river with any other country, which means that we don't have any conflict with other countries about the use of water. You know that, you will hear more about that, because water will be the issue of the years to come, and you will see that they will have more and more problems about using water, especially when you share it with someone else. It contributes now to 4.4% of energy consumption. We have 27 hydraulic sites. 2 other sites are under development, and in 2020 we will reach 14% of our energy mix. Let's talk about the involvement of Germany, because we are in Germany. I am representing Morocco here, and I'm very much involved with the German on this project. So not only their companies are present in Morocco and they have started to work with on that, but we got some finances and for loans from the Germans. This financial support to Tanger and Essaouira, 50 million euros each for hydraulic energy, 137 million euros, and for solar energy in rural areas, 5.1 million. The total subsidies we got is 252 million. This means not very much when we are talking of renewable energy, because we are talking of billions of dollars. But finding the financial support is not really the problem in this sector. You have just to get the best technology and to be able to have the best prices. For the moment, the price of electricity from wind is really cheaper. Electricity is still expensive. It's the reason why you need to mix with maybe exports, because the price of electricity is higher in Europe. But I think with the development of technology, prices are going down. They already do. Desertec projects. The philosophy of Desertec project is to connect the MENA region, I mean from Morocco, from Mauritania to Saudi Arabia, to connect with cables and to provide electricity from solar or wind energy, provide electricity to Europe, and to be able to fulfill 15% of the needs of Europe. You have maybe you heard a lot about Desertec project, and people are talking about Desertec project. If you talk to experts here in Germany, they will tell you, while we have been talking about this among experts in Germany, the Moroccans have started the projects already, because what we are doing is that we are producing electricity from renewable energy for our own needs, for exports, and it's exactly the philosophy of Desertec. And because of that, and because we have been going so fast, we have been selected by Desertec for the first pilot project, and this pilot project will be also of 500 megawatt. I missed one slide. Yeah, this one, sorry. This slide is about the connection that we have with Europe. Morocco is already connected to Spain since 1997. We have 2 lines of 400 kilovolts. The capacity is 1,400 megawatt, and we have a project of a 3rd line which will be starting soon. We are also connected to Algeria on the east, also with this 446 kilometers long capacity line. We have 2 already and a 3rd one in progression. This is very important because it's not only producing electricity, but being able to provide electricity to Europe. And this is what we have as a target in our project. In 2009, we imported 18% of our electricity from Spain for a very simple reason. Because of the crisis, they needed less energy in Spain, so the price of electricity went down, and it was better for us to import electricity from Spain than to produce it. So it works already. Some people are talking about, is it possible to exchange electricity with Africa? Yes, it's a reality. It's not only possible, it's a reality. What I would like to outline also is, I give you this example just for Morocco because it's the one I'm familiar with. But if you talk to my colleagues or if you go in other countries, you will see that same projects are going on, or countries are getting ready in Tunisia, in Algeria, in Libya. Discussions are taking place in to make it real and to be able to produce electricity for our domestic needs and to export electricity. This is what I wanted to share with you, because we always talk about Africa and say, okay, Africa is raw material that we can get and we can process everything in Europe. We have here a case where we are developing technology in cooperation with Europe, in cooperation with all other countries, and being able to develop a source of energy which will be essential in the future. The population is growing, the needs for energy will be going higher and higher, and if you do not control, or if you don't have enough energy, you will be in trouble. So we have started, we are going very, very fast. We have a very ambitious target. And, you know, I have this strange feeling because since last year, no one was talking to Morocco about energy because we don't have energy. We, as I told you, we import 96% of our energy from everywhere. And because of this project, and because we went so far and so fast, we are now invited everywhere. Everyone is talking to us, everyone is sharing with us, and we have this feeling that we almost became an energy power in renewable energy. And I can tell you, I have been here for 6 years. No one talks to me about energy since the beginning of this year. I am invited everywhere. Even the Green Party invited me in Stuttgart in a meeting of the party to talk about what we are doing and what I think and how I feel about Desertec. I am invited also in Schleswig-Holstein to talk about energy, and yeah, this is something I wanted to share with you. No, this one, you leave it there, it has a special purpose. Sun is not only to produce electricity. You can find sun everywhere. And I brought to you clementines from Morocco, and I hope you will have the opportunity to taste them. They are really good. It's what I will be distributing to many people here for Christmas. And yeah, this is one for you, Mr. Donfrey. That's the reason why I said this one is a special one. Eloy, your new daughter will need some vitamins, and you will get really, really good ones right here. So please feel free to take and to try them, and I hope you will enjoy them, and you will feel the sun that is also in the tangerines. So thank you for attention, and I can answer any one of your questions.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Who would like to make the first question or comments? And then please, if you could introduce yourself as well, so that the ambassador knows who you are.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. Elvis from Namibia. My question is, I mean, there's so much emphasis placed on renewable energy as a result of climate change. Yeah, but we are all aware that it's not. It's still very much developing. It's still at its infant stage, the renewable energy source. And yet, I come from Namibia, where I've made an experience whereby there's also a rush for uranium. The demand for uranium as a source of power has also increased over years. So I would like to find out: is there no contradiction, or we are here advocating for renewable energy in the name of climate change, yet there's also a rush, a great demand for uranium? Thank you.
No, I don't think you have to connect renewable energy with climate change. You have to connect renewable energy with the fact that the traditional sources of energy will finish in few years. Some talk about 60 years, 50 years, 70 years, who knows. That's the first point. So you need to develop another source of energy. This one is available all the time. The technology have been developed. We are already using renewable energy. The investments of Germany have no sun. The investments in Germany is huge, and they are talking of 8,000 megawatts of wind energy. So the idea is to have an alternative source of energy, but at the same time it's a clean one. So it's a good thing to produce a source of energy that is not polluting and will be a substitute to the traditional sources of energy. If you take a country like Morocco, we need billions of dollars or billions of euros to import energy, and we have energy everywhere. So we have started, because even if people say it's too expensive, because many people have not started to invest because they find it very expensive to produce electricity from solar energy. So you cannot sell it at the same price you are selling electricity now. So, okay, are you going to give subsidies? How are you going to provide electricity to a reasonable price? But we think that in the future, the technology will be able to provide electricity from solar energy at a very good price. It's already going down. But the other sources of energy are getting more expensive. You know, we are talking of $100, $60 for the barrel for petrol, and petrol is not available everywhere. It's really a source, for environment, it's really a problem. So we are developing these sources of energy. Nuclear energy, if it's that your question, you know, that's a very big debate. It's a source of energy that is used by many countries. You have to be able to, to control the technology, because you have to run a facility for a nuclear energy. It's a big debate in Germany, if you have been following what's happening here. Everyone is talking about nuclear energy. Shall we stop that? They said, no, we would give a momentum of more years. It was a very strong debate among the parties in the Bundestag, because they say, no. Some say, we need this source of energy. Some others say, this is too dangerous, and the waste is a real problem, so we shouldn't all of us go into this source of energy. And then you have the civil use of energy, of nuclear energy. We are also talking about that in Morocco, because some countries come to us and say, you should also invest in nuclear energy. We are ready to sell to you nuclear facilities in order to produce electricity. The French president was recently it was in India. So in India, I think they signed for 2 nuclear facilities that will be built by the French. So yes, nuclear energy is a big debate. Some are thinking that this is the best way to produce cheap energy. Some others say this is dangerous if everyone goes into nuclear energy. In Morocco, there is also a debate on that. We are talking because are we able with renewable energy to fulfill all our needs? This is not, I don't think this is possible, but we are investing a lot of it. Debate has also taken place on nuclear energy. Some countries are coming to us and say you should also invest in that. No decision has been taken for the moment, but you're right. It's important to talk about that because many countries are investing in that. And then are we going to find enough uranium? Are we able to control all the facilities? Are we able to avoid any accident with nuclear facilities? All these questions are on the table.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. My name is Patrick Osakwe, and I'm from the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development in Geneva. I find this project very interesting. I think poor infrastructure is one of the major constraints inhibiting Africa's ability to diversify its economies, particularly energy infrastructure. So in that context, I find this project very interesting. Unfortunately, most African governments are not, they've been talking about the need to develop energy infrastructure, but they've not taken any proactive steps towards addressing the issue. So in that context, I find Morocco's attempt to look forward by developing renewable energy sources very interesting. And I do hope that Morocco would also make an effort to sort of spread this news to other African countries, and hopefully they would borrow from Morocco's example. The question that I have for our ambassador is, you did mention that there is foreign participation in the development of these projects. Is there any provision within the plan for the development of local capacities to maintain these facilities, in the long run?
Yeah. First, we have been the first ones to invest and to go fast in this, but it doesn't mean that we are not sharing that with others. And I told you that partnership is a key point in what we are doing. And we are already talking with Senegal and with Burkina Faso. They are the first ones we have started to talk. And they came to us and we are sharing with them what we are doing. And what is important is that everyone will benefit from what we are doing. If we make some mistakes, they will avoid them. If new technologies are developed, they will acquire them. They will get these new technologies. And we really are opening the way for everyone, and we are discussing with everybody. Morocco is very much involved on the African continent, a little bit now in renewable energy, but we are involved in water, we are involved in health, we are involved in education, all kind of trainings, and yeah, you all come from African continent. We have more than 9,000 African students in Morocco, with 97% of them have Moroccan scholarships, and they are studying in our universities, and 100%, maybe a little bit less of them go back to their country. Some stay because they get married in Morocco and they prefer to settle in Morocco. But this is a very successful program, and as I told you, we have started in our university a degree to prepare people to renewable energy, because you have to handle this. We have engineers now in our engineer schools, and others who are trained and formed in universities in Europe and elsewhere, many of them in German universities, and I think we will have enough time to prepare people. These projects have just started. Engineers are already there. If you go to any school for engineers, you will see that many of them go to this renewable sector, because this is the future. Many years ago, you go to any university and everyone is talking about computers. And everyone was specialized on computers because that was the future. It's still the future. But now everyone is oriented or orienting his children to renewable energy because it will be a big, big market and many opportunities for Africans engineers, not only in Africa but even in Europe or elsewhere.
Thank you. We'll first go back and then we'll come to the front.
Thank you. His Excellency, with due respect, I want to know on the scene of the new partnership for African development, NEPAD, and the APRM, African Peer Review Mechanism. Is there anything Morocco is doing to facilitate sharing in the African Partnership for Development, and also in the peer review system? Are there any impartation in these projects to other African countries, apart from Burkina Faso and Senegal that you mentioned? I believe that it's supposed to be something that will, spread further than that, not until when they come seeking for information. Because at the level of Nepal, it's supposed to be a willing approach to give out ideas and rub hearts on how to move Africa forward as an entity.
Yeah. When I mentioned Senegal and Burkina Faso, it was just to give an example because we have just started to talk with them because they showed some interest. They heard about that. I have in my documents a list because the ambassador of Kenya, we talked last week about the companies that are involved, the German companies that are involved in Morocco and the big German companies in this sector. And he asked me to provide a list, and he said that he might be here this morning, so I have the list for him here. So to mention another country, Kenya is very, very much also involved in renewable energy, and with the Germans also. So it's a new thing that is now on the desk of everybody. A few years ago, or even a few months ago, no one was talking about renewable energy. It was so very expensive, maybe no need for that. All those who have gas and oil are not very much interested. Few years ago, few months ago, you couldn't talk about an electric car. Last month, end of last month, we had a big meeting organized by BMW and the Chinese, and partnership with the Chinese, and they are talking of the new electric car that will be ready in 2011. Which was not, electric cars, the technology have been developed for so many years, but no one was investing in electric cars. So yes, African countries are more and more interested and more involved. I gave few cases because these are the ones I have in mind, but if you go through all the African continents, if you go to South Africa, we mentioned Namibia here, they are also very much involved. So all the African countries are now thinking also renewable energy. Maybe there was a time when everybody thought that, oh, this technology is not easy, this technology is not manageable, this technology is too expensive. Yeah, but that was a few months ago. Now everyone is saying, yes, this is the future. Oh, sorry. This is the future. It's just an alarm. It's not. This is the future, and we should be investing in that. And this source of energy, as a whole, in the NEPAD, I'm not very familiar with all the projects that are now in the NEPAD. We are one of the initiators of the NEPAD, but it has not started yet. I don't know if some projects on renewable energy are in the NEPAD, but yes, why not? I'm sure that the NEPAD will be also a source of financing this kind of projects, because this is the future of Africa.
Your Excellency, Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much. My name is Julia Boga. I'm working at World University Service, and I'm very happy to hear about the renewable energy projects in Morocco. And moreover, not only because it's an option to have a clean use of energy, but also because of the workplaces you just mentioned. And as you just indicated, it's not only an opportunity for foreign experts to come to Morocco and to show Morocco how to use these renewable energies, but also for Moroccan engineers to apply their knowledge. And I know there are many Moroccan students studying technologies here in Germany. Is there any figure for them to assume in the next years how many workplaces there might be in the highly qualified sector?
Yeah. You know that we have been talking with Mr. Donfried about a big event that will be called Germany meets Morocco, or Morocco meets Germany. And if I'm invited to talk at this event, I will choose this topic, which will be, I would say, the whole topic of integration, because it's a big debate here. We heard many politicians talking about integration, and I would like to maybe give some figures and explain what is the success of the Moroccan integration, or the integration of Moroccans here in Germany. Very few people know that we are more than 100,000, very well integrated. And what is fascinating is that we have around 8,000 students, Moroccan students, in German universities. The students choose to come to Germany. There are no facilities in Morocco for that. I mean, they go to the Goethe Institute, they learn some German, but they decide to waste or to lose 1 year of studies to be able to speak the German language. 6 months in Morocco, training at the Goethe Institute, and then 6 months here of training, and then they go to the university. We don't give them any scholarships, so they do everything by themselves. And we don't have a big tradition like we have with Spain or with France of education, because they are present in Morocco, and they have these gymnasiums everywhere in Morocco, Spanish and French. But 8,000 students, and it was always a big surprise for me to discover that. They are very, very successful. Half of them are, or more than half of them, are in engineer schools. And I can tell you that there is a big difference to prepare an engineer in a German school than in another one, or maybe if I take the French model where I made my studies. Here, people are really prepared to start to work in a company. I mean, when they go in a company, they are ready to start the job. If you come from a French engineer school, I mean, you will need to be trained maybe 6 months or 3 months or more in the company before you really start to work, which is completely different from Germany. All of them go back to Morocco. I say all of them. And they are very successful, very well trained, and many of them, as I told you, are now specializing in renewable energy. We even have experts who give lectures on renewable energy and what we are doing here in Germany. Some are even involved in research. And this was something very interesting for me to see that so many are here. And these statistics of 8,000 are German statistics. They take into consideration only those who have a Moroccan passport. Those who became German are not in the statistic. It means that there are more and more than that figure in the universities and the engineer schools here, and they are very successful. And they go back, and I'm sure that many of them will find job opportunities in Morocco.
Additional questions? Yeah, can back.
Your Excellency, I was just wondering, are there groups of technicians and scientists in Morocco who, let's say maybe 30, 40 years ago, talked about exploiting the sun in Morocco, and now they're telling I told you so? Is that possible? And
So, excuse me, did they tell?
were there scientists
Yes.
and technicians in Morocco who talked earlier about exploiting the sun resources of Morocco?
Yes.
And has there been any studies done? You mentioned electric cars. Have there been any studies about the ozone emissions and what that might mean to the environment? Those are my two questions.
Yeah. All those, as I said, 40 or 25 or 30 years ago, who were involved in solar, they were in the tourism business, not in energy business, because no one was thinking that we could use solar energy or wind energy to provide electricity. But now, yeah, it's what everybody is studying because it became a reality, and everyone is producing electricity from all kind of renewable energy. We didn't talk about biomass, we didn't talk of many other possibilities to produce energy. I just mentioned the ocean and the possibility to use tide and waves to produce energy. Yes, today more are involved in that, but in the past, I mean, no one. I mean, myself, I told you it's only 1 year or 2 years ago that we really started to talk about renewable energy in such a way, and we started this in 2000, at the end of 2009, and even I remember when I used to talk to people involved in energy in Morocco, and I used to mention solar energy, they used to say, no, Mr. Ambassador, no, we don't talk about solar energy, it's too expensive, we are not going to be involved in that, we talk only wind. It's the reason why when I presented, I showed you that 4 parks, wind parks, are already working, I mean, providing electricity, because all our engineers were wind-oriented, wind energy-oriented. Now everyone is talking about solar, and now we are doing more in solar than we are doing in wind, because everyone says, yes, this is maybe the future, and we can provide electricity from solar than from wind. We know that for the moment it's still very expensive, and we are talking how we are going to give maybe subsidies to be able to sell energy or electricity from solar energy to companies and to private homes.
Well, it looks as if that's the question. So I'd like to maybe just take this opportunity, if you would allow me, to thank you, Your Excellency, really for a very inspirational presentation. I think really one of the biggest concerns that I have in the field of cultural diplomacy, and sort of what motivates me also to continue working, is actually this issue of climate change, energy, etc. I mean, these are global problems, these are global challenges that not one country can solve alone. So I think here we see a great example of German-Moroccan cooperation, and as was discussed from the questions, the potential for even greater cooperation within the region in Africa and also beyond. So I think this is really a crucial issue. I think it's a success story. I think it's an inspiration for all of us. And I wanted to thank you for that. Instead of just speaking about Morocco, tourism, and this and that, really a real world issue that matters to us and that can impact actually all of our lives. So if you could please join me in a very, very sincere thank you for His Excellency. Thank you.